Okay, we are officially conducting a live event, and it's telling me that the event will begin in a few moments. So it looks as though everything is intact and we are recording, and I did not have to bail out and start a new event just to get this thing to broadcast live. So thank you, Hangouts, for successfully supporting us today. And my name is Roland from What is the Positive Show and Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties and R&D Hotline. And we have with us today two of our challengers for the 30-day manifestation challenge. So Deborah Burden is with me, and so is Wake Baindor Rao. Wake Ananda. Boy, your name has got to be one of the hardest on the market. But I know that you've only got a limited amount of time. Would you like to say a few words before you exit?
Um, yeah, I have been doing the challenge, and in fact, I have, as you know, Roland, I have extended the challenge a little bit, and I am doing the challenge as I have been trying, I meant to do. So, uh,
Good deal.
yeah.
By the way, you're doing a. I got the inspiration to do the Thursday and Sunday sessions of journaling
Mm-hmm.
because of you doing a journal every day and recording what you're doing. Are you
Yeah,
continuing with that every day?
I am recording every day, and one of the things that I have done is it's not just a progress report. I also give tips and tricks that um, businessmen, women can use. It is to do with the Google technology. So I keep it short and sweet. So
Cool.
so it is not just a video log. It's also because my mantra is always integrate, simplify life. So
Yes.
bring different things together. That's my that's my mantra.
Very good. And mine too. And that's basically why I'm in Hangouts doing
Hmm.
what we do with this. And I chose Hangouts above and beyond other platforms. And I have a feeling that they're going to come back into the limelight a bit better than they've been. But we'll see.
Mm.
So I'm kind of sticking around hoping that Google will step it up a bit. Let me
Yeah,
see if
I think they are, yes. Hmm.
if I can. I know that the uh, Julie is in the audience listening, and I'm going to call her in just in case she never got the invitation.
Mm.
So I'm going to give her a direct link. But the objective here is not to accomplish anything great, but just to kind of touch bases with everybody, say hi, and just encourage you to keep on going and having fun with this all. I'm definitely having a lot of fun, and the Thursdays and Sundays are more of a relaxed journaling because there's no pressure with it. I can say anything I want and continue on. But anyway, one of the things I was saying earlier, and you people can interrupt me anytime something strikes you. Okay, so don't feel like you have to listen to Roland all day. But this lady asked me to remove her, and so my attitude is if you verbally, and especially publicly ask me to remove you, I'm going to gladly remove you because I don't want people following me if they don't want to. I don't if people feel like I'm pestering them, it's like, damn, I get just too many notifications from this guy Roland. Roland, who is he anyway? And if that's the case, if they don't want to take the time to watch, excuse me, to watch one of my shows because I'm pretty much the same guy in every show I do. Um, I don't know. Well, I see you nodding your head, Wake. Thank you. I'm pretty much the same regardless of the show. So there isn't a time that I put a special hat on and say I'm going to be this today, and put on the act or the Smarties cap or the R&D hotline cap or something like that. I'm Roland, and so I don't even put a promotional blip in my details about me because I don't do well advertising about me, but I want people to know who I'm working with. I'm glad to put Molly's and Karen's short bio in about them, but I just don't feel the need to do it. And people are pestering me from time to time saying, you got to put more things in it. You got to link to your site. You got to link blah, blah, blah. And, someday I will, but right now my ego doesn't need it. By the way, my site apparently did have a problem, even though I did a full scan and a cleanup with WordFence and all these things. Apparently, my site did have a problem at one time, and it put me on the blacklist for Google, so the red flag comes up with all my links. So I got to attend to that. And it very well might be because of this thing that happened last week. So we'll see. Anyway, this lady asked me, oh, did you have something to say, Wewake?
No, no, yeah, but in a way, yes. I was going to say you probably need to address that problem with the red flag and Google and
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm going to add an SSL certificate this week and do a few things to shape up the site. So we'll see what happens.
I
But
think
anyway,
I guess you have the right person as a co-host to handle such situations. So
I've already contacted her and asked her
yeah,
analyze it.
yeah.
So anyway, this lady asked me to remove her, and of course I said absolutely no problem, and I removed her from a couple of contact circles because I was following her community and I was doing a couple of things, But even in following her community, I wasn't getting anything out of it. I don't get notifications. I don't get stuff, and I set up every following or every relationship basically the same, and so I should be getting full notifications if I'm getting any at all, but I don't. But she's getting them from me, and is not apparently not following me. That's fine. Apparently not watching the show. That's fine. So my attitude is, I'm happy to take you out because I'm not going to waste Google's resources uh, pinging you and sending you notifications if I'm not your cup of tea. And so I told her it's absolutely no problem. And so she said, I hate announcing this. Oh, she did a private message to me. She goes, I hate announcing things like that in public. And I thought to myself, well, if you hate it so much, why did you do it? You're showing me right here that you could have messaged me directly. I mean, we're doing it now, but you had to announce publicly and make it like, well, I'll catch you in the stream while you're there and I'll let you know. Well, it just kind of struck me as funny. And so I just basically said, no worries, it has not affected me at all. And, here I am talking about it, but it's always funny to me. And it's kind of like an entertainment to see how people perform. But that's her and this is me. So, whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe it was a situation where she started out thinking, I want to participate in this challenge, and then decided she wasn't ready to deal with her own issues. I don't think you personally have anything to do with her choice of being removed. It might have been something personal with her.
Oh, that I accept readily, just in the nature of things. But I mean, the reason that she was in circles at all was that I saw her on another show, and I thought she was a very interesting person, so I followed her. So in following her, I also added her to my Saturday morning Marketing Smarties circles because I thought, well, she should know what I'm broadcasting. I'm getting familiar with what she's broadcasting, and maybe there's some common ground there. And I think what we proved is that there is a lack of common ground.
I agree with you on that. A lot of people, they have their, and I don't always get you know, reciprocation on what I do, but I'm following a lot of people, and they very seldomly show up for support. And I noticed that everybody's on their own agenda, and they haven't figured out how to incorporate the to give back or whatever.
Right.
And that's why we're so disconnected now. Is we get, you know, a lot of people I run across are tunnel vision to what they're doing, and they're not, you know, they say I want to help everybody, but they're not giving back.
Yes.
And I've learned to accept that. That's one of the, and that's, you know, I've just learned to accept it and see it for what it is and move on. I am reminding myself, because I've had that same circumstance where I've received messages on my review, you know, pages. Don't add me, or don't, you know, I don't want to stay informed or whatever. And I just figured, well, their plate is full, and they got no room right now for what I'm doing. So, and I never take it personal, but I used to take it personal, and it would bother me for weeks.
Sure.
And I had to actually talk myself into understanding that I'm special, and everybody doesn't work like I do. So therefore, don't take it personal. They just got a lot on their plate, and they have no room for what you're doing.
Agreed.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, I host a show, and I have struggled with that show. Now, what is so ironic, I did it to myself.
How's that?
I really did. I screwed myself. I had a very good numbers when I was in Blog Talk Radio. I had got up to 2,200 people listening to my radio show.
Wow.
And I migrated to Google Plus, and instead of learning how to pull that audience with me, I migrated over here and assumed they knew how to follow. And I get a lot of people ask me, how come you're not doing your radio show? Well, I'm over here at Google Plus now. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. So I'm learning now how to give notification to all those listeners that were listening to me over there to come over here. Because I like Google Plus platform a lot better. It's video, it's connected to YouTube, and I don't do video, but this, you know, how some people really go out of their way to do video and get their message in video and so on. I don't. But Google Plus, when I do a Hangout, I don't have to worry about the cam. I just do the Hangout, and it goes in video on my Conversations with Deborah YouTube channel.
Right.
So that's why I migrated over here, and I dropped the ball. It's what you don't know that can hurt you, and I didn't take the time to learn what I needed to learn to bring that audience over here. I did get a suggestion.
Why not do both?
Well, that was the suggestion that a friend of mine, Rachel, she's kind of a coach, and we were talking about it, and she said, well, go back and pick up your listenership at, you know, Blog Talk Radio and migrate over here slowly. Let them know that you're much happier and comfortable over here at Google Plus. And sorry about that. Sorry about that. But I had no idea. I had ran that for 6 months every day when I first launched that, and I had got that 6 months really gave me fruit, and I had but the part of it that I wasn't succeeding in was my goal. Still never came to fruit, but I did build a listenership. So, and when I saw the numbers, one thing Blog Talk Radio gives you is numbers that you can follow. I didn't believe it. That was the other thing. I didn't believe 2,200 people were listening to my podcast.
Now, when I say 2,200 people, exactly what is that statistic?
Well, the
Did you have
statistics is the ones that stream more than 3 minutes of your podcast.
So that's every time you were on?
Every time I had got my numbers up to 2,200 after 6 months. And when I seen the 2,200 mark,
and how long was your show?
it was an hour show. I had a 60-second break every 15 minutes for advertisers. And excuse me, I enjoyed what I done, but I had some circumstances. I had no, I lost my co-host due to irreconcilable differences, like a marriage, and it just kind of put a hole in the whole thing, And I wanted to come over here. He wanted to stay there. It was just a lot of things going on. And then he upscaled me on the show, and I was like, this is not right. He locked me out of my own show. So I was just like, let me just drop this for right now, go over here and build this up. Then I didn't say consistent over here, but, it's all a learning experience. And I'm learning.
I started out with Hangouts, and I've, there's Julie.
Hello, Julie.
I was wondering if I was doing something wrong and couldn't get you into our agreement.
Hi.
Hello, Julie.
Hi there, Web. Hi, Deborah. I'm sorry.
How you doing today?
There's Julie.
Hello, Julie.
Hi.
We're just having some fun talking about.
I had to get myself together.
Oh, you look wonderful. So.
I
You look nice.
didn't think Deborah got to be complete there.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just shouting out hello, and you look nice.
I had to get
So anyway, we're talking about people. No, it's funny. I had the experience today of someone requesting to be removed from my circles or my notifications for my shows. And I thought, well, it's about time somebody decided to ask me that, because it's not hard watching. I mean, it's not easy watching Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties as it is. Even Michael Daniels asked to be removed from my list, and I didn't take that personally, because Michael Daniels is into different things than I am. He's into technology, and I'm into marketing. So, it made sense. And even after I removed him from the circles, he still comes to the show sometimes, and I still see him on other Hangouts, and I've been on his show from the community that they have, the user-to-user live community, and I've asked him some technical questions, and he's very congenial and warm, and he helps me out and stuff. So we have a good relationship. He just didn't want to be on my list. But if I had taken it personally, I'd have all kinds of thoughts about Michael Daniels, right? But he is indeed a wonderful guy, and he gives a lot. So, those are the relationships that I want to build. And I don't take it personally if somebody wants to be off the list. But what is positive is hard to digest for some people, because we talk about some stuff that is difficult to face or difficult subjects to discuss, and people are pretty opinionated about things, as am I. But I think that I've got a perspective that pretty much rings true with a good cross-section of people who are more spiritual-minded and less rigid with their do's and don'ts of life. I think life is a lot more simple than we think it is. Even as I say that, we have our complications and details, right? But I mean, as far as what am I going to do about my complications and details, my path seems pretty simple. Because when something comes up, I just got to go, what does my gut tell me I'm going to do? What should I do? What do I want to do? What's the right thing? And when I ask myself what is the right thing, I don't go by, well, let's see, what's the measuring stick here? What rules am I sitting in the midst of? They come first. And the human element doesn't matter until I've conformed to the rules. For me, the human element is the basis of the rules. And then past that, we have other restrictions if we do. I mean, you know, the nation has a constitution and laws of the land. There's certain things we can't do. Well, I'm pretty much in alignment with all those things, except for we can have discussions about how the government screws us and how it gyps us out of this and that. But you know, it just doesn't matter. To me, it just doesn't matter.
There are a lot bigger things for us to be thinking about, aren't there?
Yeah, like politics. Let's concern ourselves with politics for the day. I cannot have a discussion on politics. I'll tell you that I kind of like what Obama has done in office, but other than that, you know, I don't like everything he does, and I certainly don't think about any other of the people in offices around the country, let alone my own community. About as political as I can get is what is affecting my sons and daughters and wife, and what is in the immediate community around me that affects our living condition. Those are the politics that's about all I can digest.
You know, I would love to see someone not discuss the problem, because we all see the problems, but what are the solutions? What are the problem solving of those, you know, problems? Everybody talks about the problem.
Yeah.
But I want to start hearing podcasts or someone discuss what we can do to be a solution to it. Like you know, like educating people on financial literacy. Let them know the choices they got. In dealing with politics, you gotta. They have to come to a level of education of understanding what's really going on in front of them and why there's such a division on the lower end, because they designed it that way so they can get away with what they do at the top. And if we stop fighting with each other and began to love ourselves and each other, they could not get away with what they get away with.
I think it's a harsh system at this point, but
I still have faith I still have faith that the people can turn it around.
Agreed.
And make it work for them, because they can only get away with what we allow them to get away with. Someone can only do to you what you allow them to do to you. There are things in place, but if you educate yourself on your rights and you know, it takes responsibility. I think that you would be able to stand your ground on what, you know, is best for you and your family, that they, you know, and when they come across someone that can think for themselves and are educated, they back down. I've done it over and over. I've gone to court and had a case dismissed because I challenged their authority. You know, but I could not know how to do that if I didn't learn what I needed to learn.
Excuse me one moment. We see that your family is there now and you have family time, and thank you very much for coming in early and being with us on this journaling session. It's been fun to have you. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thanks
Have a great day. Namaste.
I enjoyed being with you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye, Vivek.
Bye-bye.
He is something else. The guy is so well read. He knows so much about so many things. It's interesting. He's a philosopher and a spiritualist, and yet he's full of tech stuff. So that's the kind of people I like to hang out with.
Wonderful. I'm not the techiest person in the world.
You don't have to be.
And that's okay, because I know how to get on a HOA.
Yeah, you know, nowadays it's all about partnerships, and nobody has to stand alone. You just have to have good relationships and good partners. I don't know everything. That's why I have a couple people in the green room on my show on Saturdays. I don't know everything about philosophy and spirituality. That's why I have Shira, Carlo, and George join me in the What is the Positive show. So, you know, it's like it's about teamwork and collaboration with the right people. And Deborah, you said probably the most important thing is like, what can we do to contribute to the solution? And I like the phrase, be the solution. And I'm not sure in all cases how to be the solution. But I think it starts with us vibrating in the spirit of the solution. So if we align ourselves spiritually with the solution, then we are contributing to the solution and not struggling against the problem, as you say. And about as close as I get to a problem is to be a problem solver. And you know that's the starting point. You have to recognize the problem, but from there you springboard into what's the solution. And people look at it like they're outside the solution. But I'm more of a concept of we must align ourselves with the solution, even though we don't know what it is. We must align ourselves with the solution, and we will bring forth the solution. Everything happens spiritually first. So that's my philosophy. And I started with that.
I like the idea of being like water. So when water encounters an obstacle, or whether it just be a difference in the lay of the land, or whether it's a pebble, or whether it's a boulder, water just flows. Water goes around. It doesn't stop and complain. It finds its path, on the way to the valley, ultimately to the sea. Water just flows, and I don't know. I like that whole kind of way of looking at problems as well. That we're not the problem. When we're the water, we're not the problem. The problem, it may be in our path, but that doesn't make us the problem. We can still flow, and we can be the solution, as you said. We can be if our intention is in that, then our actions can flow more readily. Which brings me to the challenge. This has been great because having my intention be in this space has just been a wonderful experience for me. I actually started 2 challenges right before this one. So this is the third challenge that I'm doing simultaneously. And they're all very different kinds of challenges, and I'm just having the best experience. They're all kind of supporting each other in my daily life.
Could we get a glimpse of what the other 2 challenges are that you're
Sure. So
taking on?
The first one I took on, this will be my 4th week, and I'm a writer and editor, and I had a health concern that had taken me away from being very actively working on one of my book projects. So that book has over 70 contributors who contributed their varying perspectives around death, dying, and the end of life. These are a wide array of individuals and professionals who work in that field of support. And so I feel I have generously I've gathered these very generous personal stories, and I feel a great obligation and motivation to get this book complete. I have a co-author working with me on it, but both of us have been stalled. And so what I did for my first, that's the backstory, what I did for my first challenge is just commit to daily 30-minute work on that. And that may not sound like much, but what it generally flows into being more than that, kind of a loose, but at least 30 minutes, Monday through Friday. And I established a penalty for myself if I did not. Oh, yeah. There's a concept called greasing the slopes, which I learned from Leo Babauta's book called Zen Habits. Zen Habits is about it's kind of like how to create these challenges in your life, how to add in desirable changes and habits in your life. And he's got all kinds of great ideas, but this one I just loved. And so greasing the slopes is when you put some, I call it a penalty, some consequence that you're bound to do, and you announce it publicly so that you're accountable to this. So here's my penalty if I miss that. I have to contribute $1 to the Donald Trump campaign.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but it's so distasteful to me, and I want to tell you that in almost 4 weeks, I have not missed one single day. I don't care what else is going on in my life, and believe me, there's a lot of things going on in my life. I have been true to that, and I will, I just couldn't stand will not stand the concept of me being on the roster of his contributors.
That is an absolute
that's
crack.
my greasy slope. And my second challenge is about exercise, and I'm doing that every 7 days a week. I'm doing a very good job with that, and I have a grease slope for that too. It's not as distasteful as the other one, but it involves a monetary contribution that I will make to it happens to be a good cause, and so but I haven't missed on that one either. And
Now the question
anyway,
is, if you have a good cause to donate to, would that cause you to miss your challenge so that you can donate to the cause?
It's just the money factor for me there, and I made that sum be a very hefty sum for me.
I
see. I don't mind if I have to do it. Like, it's not that bad, but on the other hand, I don't want to do it if I don't have to right now. And and then of course the one I'm doing with you, Roland, is daily drawings, timed drawings. I'm an artist, and I haven't done this particular kind of exercise for many years, and I'm so excited. I've drawn all kinds of things, from people to bananas to strawberries to, I'm having fun with it. Anyway. So.
I am so glad that you're doing that challenge with us. And here's why. Because most people think of achieving a goal as a start-to-finish race, and then you cross the finish line, or you grab the tape, right, and say, yay, I'm finished. But that's the end of a static goal from one point to another. And then you wonder, now what do I take on next? But in your challenge, you're doing an exercise that expands who you are and what you're doing. And it becomes a trend and a trait for you to draw and to enjoy it. And when you're expanding in enjoyment and enjoy, that's the expansion that I'm after. For all of my people in the challenge, I want them to expand into joy. Not conquering the problems that they have, but as Deborah says, be a part of the solution and be fulfilled in some way and add to the joy of your life. Because if we're adding to the joy of our life, that's more of who we are.
Indeed, I agree 100%.
I agree too.
Yeah.
So,
you and Deborah are very wise people, Roland.
I can't confirm that, but I'd like to believe it.
Yes, you can. I want to hear more positivity from you. What is the positive? Yes,
that's
you
basically
can.
all I've got for people. I have maybe a 5% output that people say, Roland, you said that, but you could have said that better, and they correct me. And I appreciate that, because that's what I'm training myself to do, is not answer in the negative. Like someone says something to me, and I try desperately to answer the question by not saying no or not, or the apostrophe T. I tried not to use a single word that had that, because I was thinking, we definitely don't want to do that. Well, I use the word don't, right? So that was the negative I'm trying to avoid. And so it was a long, drawn-out sentence, basically like, yeah, I can see that, but hopefully we'll be able to find an alternative that. And then I was thinking that I was just going to say doesn't. And I said, there's the negative again. Okay, so how do we circumvent this? The way to approach it is basically, we will be happy to wait for a better opportunity to do something better. That type of a statement. Avoiding the subject of whatever we don't want to do, the not, completely, and focusing on what we want. and that is a better option. So I figured it out, but it's not second nature to me yet. I'm still a user of don't and no and not, but I don't
Well,
want to be.
I had a lot of practice because for years I was in the role of being a teacher and educational administrator. And I learned early on, the research shows that if you tell a child, for instance, don't run, don't
Right.
run in the house. If they hear that negative word first, they're really not, they're not going to learn anything because they're already shut down. The shield goes up. They've got the negative word out there. However, the research also shows that if you say something positively, for instance, now how could you say that? We used to say in our school, please use your walking feet inside.
There
And then
you
when we
go.
would get outside, we would say, this is your chance. Now you can use your outside feet. Run like the wind, and we would encourage them to see the contrast. It's not that we don't want them to be little human beings who are full of energy, but sometimes it's dangerous for children to do certain things. And what we learned was that it's really best to save those negative words for extreme, dangerous circumstances when you want a child to really notice, because they're going to step into the street in front of a bus. You want to be
Right.
able to say no or don't and have them stop everything because that word, triggers in them a very strong response that they don't normally hear from their mom or their teacher or the adult that's caring for them. So
Theoretically,
there's my little teacher bit. And
I
Roland,
love it.
we're all learning all the time.
Yes.
And we're all children, too. We all respond from that child part of ourselves. When we hear that word don't, we don't want to be shut down by anybody, least of all ourselves.
Yeah. That's really a great segment that you just recorded in our broadcast for posterity.
I didn't
And
even think about that.
yeah, that's one of the reasons I do
Okay.
this is that when we have these group conversations, they don't necessarily stay on the single subject that we have, but we have these thoughts that lead to other things. But our starting point is the same, and then it leads to statements like you just made, and that was a great step in positivity as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
And that's part of what I'm all about. I'm about what empowers, not what limits, not what we have to dodge, not the obstacle, not the problem. I'm all about, okay, we recognize the problem. What are we going to do about it? Let's do
And
something.
that's what
Let's
Deborah was saying, be the solution, be in that
exactly.
frame of mind. She's the one who started it.
You did it. You did it, Deborah, and that's right.
What did I do?
Want to be the part of the solution? You got to start it on that whole vein.
Oh,
And
well, I would just, make a note of, I hear so many people talk about the problem, but they never give, after they give the problem, they never give the solution to the circumstance.
That's right. And WeWake, before he left, shot this out in the comment stream, so we'll show it to everybody here so that it's recorded also for posterity. And Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. And so that's the same thing. I'm not sure that he's the earliest one that expressed that sentiment, but it's definitely a universal thing that we all want to do.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I love the quote from Mother Teresa that talked about the people that were having an anti-war rally. Yeah, we're having an anti-war rally. Come on, Mother Teresa, why don't you come join us at the anti-war rally? And she said, thank you, I will respectfully decline. But if you have a peace rally, invite me. And so she expressed exactly what the whole thing was. What does she stand for? She stands for peace, not against the war. You can stand against the war, or you can stand for peace. And that's a choice that we all make. And basically it defines the positive and the negative. Like the little sign that I have here in my corner, of my, let me see if I can, there it is, in this corner of my screen. The plus and the minus is indicative of the choices that we can make. We can be positive or negative. So that's why the show is called What is the Positive? And so that's what I seek also. That's what I seek in the midst of this. So I'm having fun with that. I just, before the hour gets away from us, I wanted to say that V-Lynn Hawkins, who is with us in this challenge, is effectively connecting right now with Shira. She's got a meeting with Shira tomorrow. And so she's going to get her the sound tracks and that stuff all squared away. And then also she's connecting with Roz Betts, who is also in the challenge. So they're going to team up and partner for support. So this is good. You know, everyone has somebody that they're paired up with and helping along as far as the challenge goes. And that's reinforcing for the challenge. Gives us all someone to talk to on a regular basis. And then we have these journaling sessions where we do the stuff like this. And thank you very much for joining me, by the way. On occasion, if I sit here by myself for a half an hour doing nothing, that's okay, because I know that I'm devoting this energy to the positive thinking and what is the positive cause. But it always seems like somebody shows up. Out of 10 people, somebody always shows up.
Yes, it's nice to have someone else to communicate with on this time frame. It's very hard to hold a hangout when it's just you. Anyway, it is for me.
Absolutely. So what I wanted to do was I'm going to send to everybody in the green room V-Lynn Hawkins' show that's coming up in another almost 20 minutes now, so that you have it in case you have time. And you don't have to watch it, but if you do, or you want to sign up for the replay or something, we can do that. Let's see, Julie. So I'm sending it now to Julie. And I'll be sending it to Deborah.
I have a notification for it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I follow her too.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, Julie, I sent that to you in case you have time to watch.
Thank you.
And should be interesting. V-Lynn interviewed me a couple weeks ago on her show. And that's the first time I was able to talk about in basically an advertisement form, because I'm not an advertiser. I'm no good at doing that. But at being on her show, I got to talk about the concept of the Internet Marketing Tripod, which is what I've been preaching about for a year and 4 months. And I got to talk about it, and she made it the subject of the show. So I guess I think I've either coined the phrase or attached myself to a very low usage phrase. So it's becoming my trademark product. So I got the hashtag Internet Marketing Tripod hashtag, and let's see where it leads. Maybe it'll become something. Maybe it'll become something in a year.
Well, you delivered a lot of value that day. That's how I met you.
That's right.
On V-Lynn's interview, and it led me to. That's how I found you, and it led me to you, and we've grown from there. But I thoroughly enjoyed that show that day.
Yeah, that was a good one. She asked me everything that was right in my wheelhouse, and of course she previewed me before the show and asked me to fill out a little questionnaire, and so she had a pretty good idea how to interview me at that point. But she is a good interviewer, and so when you have someone like that, they can bring out the best in you.
Best.
And she is a really, really good interviewer. And another lady that's like, she's the supreme interviewer, is Lynn Sanders. It has something to do with the name Lynn, I guess. I don't know, but Lynn Sanders is a really good interviewer. And I like working with her too. So anyway, we've been, we started a little bit early. We wake about 20 till the hour, and there we are here. So maybe we'll wrap up now. I only schedule this for like a 10 to 10:30 show, but it always goes overtime. Did you ladies have any questions regarding the hangout? I mean the challenge, or anything substantial that you want to share?
Not really. I'm just that I'm applying it daily at bedtime, and that was the significance for me, is changing when I did it. I used to do it 10 o'clock in the morning, and when you explained to me all
All
the
right.
things about come behind your affirmations, all the bombarding of the day, that was very refreshing, and I embraced that. So, and
Good.
it has made a difference. So, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I have been using the sound just anytime, including even while I'm drawing. So I like that.
Cool.
I like that a lot. And
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd share that. It's I enjoy listening to it and just letting it. Anytime I keep being drawn to that to listen to it again, and so I just do.
Good deal. I know I listen to it every single night for approximately 15 to 30 minutes and incorporate that with my affirmations and my thought, dwelling on those thoughts. And then when I go to bed, I might have explained this in an earlier hangout that I don't do what most people do. When they go to sleep, they go, okay, time to shut down. And then they just figure it's oblivion. If I dream, I dream, but other than that, I'm going to shut myself down. And I don't look at it like downtime. My body is relaxing, but I go off into the dream world, and I go off into the higher thought that I think going to sleep releases me to. Because, as symbolic of that, why can I fly in my dreams and not in real life? So it's obviously a different world, right? I mean, maybe if they say, oh, it's just in your mind. But I think a lot more is in our minds than we think it is.
I agree.
So,
Remember that Einstein said we first create, I don't know the exact words, but we first create anything that we're going to, in fact, manifest first in our minds.
sure.
That's the first place it's created.
Another aspect of that by Abraham Hicks is basically one cannot experience anything that they don't give some thought to first.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't experience it unless you've given some thought to it. And I've analyzed that and contemplated what the truth is. And if it is indeed the truth, then we no longer have the option of saying, well, I'm totally innocent of ever even thinking of that, so why did it happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can do that, then you can assign something else to blame and consider yourself a victim. And I don't believe in victims. So if that's the case, then it's like something in your vibration, something in our thought must occur leading to whatever we experience. And in that respect, we're learning better and better how to think and control our thoughts so that it affects our experience more joyfully and more positively. And until we do, we have things that we'll call regrets, things that we'll call less than experiences, the harsh things that we experience in life. And those are tough. But then there are experiences showing what we manifested prior to now. And now we have a choice to make. It's like, okay, how do we do better? How do we improve that? How do we attach ourselves to the positive vibration? And if we found we could definitely attach ourselves and align ourselves with a higher vibration, we would conquer sickness, conflict, poverty, all illnesses, broken bones. We would conquer it all.
Here, here.
And therein lies my theory of life. But we have to start somewhere, so we're starting with this.
Mhm. Well, Roland, I have to run. I want to try
Yeah,
to
I
get
think we'll call it a day for everybody, and I thank you, Julie and Deborah, for joining me and on this broadcast, and
Namaste.
I'll go ahead and sign it off right now. Thank
Okay.
Bye,
everybody for
Deborah.
watching.
Bye,
If you did,
Roland.
Bye, Julie. Bye, Roland.
okay, we'll
You
see
guys
you.
have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.